Yo, what's up guys? Welcome to Lango Gaming. I'm your host Split, and today we're going to be talking about what is quickly going to be my new favorite deck in cEDH. That would be Kermit the Frog, aka Grolnok the Omnivore. This is a really sweet deck. We talk a bit about its strengths, weaknesses, issues we face when building it as a deck, and then I'll run you through the list I'm currently jetting. But anyway, let's get into the video. Hope you like it. Alright, let's start off by seeing what the card does. So Grolnok the Omnivore is a 3/3 Simic Legendary Frog that costs 1 green, 1 blue, and 2 generic mana. It reads, whenever a frog you control attacks, mill 3 cards. Whenever a permanent card is put into your graveyard from your library, exile it with a croak counter on it. And you may cast spells and play lands from among cards you own in exile with croak counters on them. Alright, so that's a lot to unpack here. First off, it's card advantage, and that is always welcome to a commander. But that ability can definitely be abused in a number of other ways. And on that note, let's get straight into the strengths of Grolnok. Well, the biggest strength of this guy is probably his synergy with Hermit Druid. Hermit Druid is a 2-drop green creature that has an activated ability that costs 1 green to activate and says reveal cards on top of your library until you reveal a basic land card. Put the revealed cards into your hand and the rest into your graveyard. Now, because these cards are just revealed, they're still in your library. So if you play no basic land cards, and Hermit Druid's ability will reveal your entire library and send to the graveyard, which will then trigger Kermit for each permanent card sent to the graveyard this way, allowing you to then cast ThOracle from your exile to win the game. Very simple game plan. But there's more to it too. Another card that's got fantastic synergy is Traumatize. It reads, target player mills half their library rounded down. Now with this, we can target ourselves, and it turns into a pseudo peer into the abyss. These are 2 very strong reasons to play the deck. Unfortunately, there is a bad side to the deck. To put it bluntly, the land base sucks. Due to the limitations of 2 colors and no basic lands thanks to Hermit Druid's requirement, the land base is really quite difficult to build. You're likely playing all 7 fetches and with only 2 targets. Breeding Pool and Tropical Island, if you got one, are the only dual type lands in Simic colors, other than the Snow Jewel, but it always enters tap. And unfortunately, that's just too slow for a deck like this in a cEDH environment. Hypno Rivulet is a fantastic include, single type pain land, but it does double as a way to mill ourselves 4 cards if the need arises. Other than that, you're really just playing any dual colored lands that don't come in tapped. Rainbow lands, utility lands. Because the game plan does heavily rely on your commander, you're also probably playing Crystal Veins, City of Traders, Ancient Tomb, or all those double colorless ones just to really get it out as quick as possible, right? Another really key weakness of the deck is if your Grolnok is removed in response to the Hermit Druid ability on the stack. You would essentially just mill yourself out and be unable to play the ThOracle you just milled, which leads us to some interesting design choices when building our deck. Cards like Memory's Journey, Turn the Earth, and Croson Reclamation are instants, but more importantly they have flashback, which is super important, as if our combo is interrupted, we can use one of them, put some cards back into our library, so we don't lose due to deck out. They also allow us to ensure our combo turns, as an extra layer of insurance through interaction, by putting ThOracle back in the deck to then draw it again, or mill it by something else to try again if it gets countered. Echo of Aeons is probably the most powerful of all these abilities, as all permanents you milled got exiled, and the new library you create is often just completely full of gas instants and sorceries. But speaking of having our combo interrupted, the most common way will come in the form of a counterspell, attempting to stop the ThOracle, or a removal spell aimed at Hermit Druid or Kermit himself. There's a few things we can do to help ensure our combo goes off, and also mitigate the damage done to us should it be interrupted. The latter of which we just covered. Now, mana usually isn't an issue on our combo turns, as we can cast all the rocks that remained in our deck and float a bunch of mana. And if we sequence it correctly and go off in main phase 1, actually, this is a rather important note that I should bring up. You should always go off in main phase 1 whenever possible. This is because of 2 major factors. One is, if need be, and there are islands in play, we can cast Carpet of Flowers and use the mana from it to help force through our combo. And 2, should our ThOracle get countered, we can flash back a Memory's Journey type effect, returning ThOracle to our library along with Lion's Eye Diamond and a Lotus Petal, for instance, and then attack with Kermit, trigger its ability, mill the cards, which in turn get exiled, and then we can play them again, hopefully winning the game in the process. We also play a slew of permanent cards that can be used to help us secure the dub, such as Snapcaster Mage, Brazen Borrower, Endurance, Hypnotic Sprite, Spellstarter Sprite, Siren Storm Tamer, Malevolent Druid, etc. Of course, we can't fit all of them in, but pick your poison and whatever suits your local meta best. The cool thing about the adventure creatures is that they're permanent everywhere except the stack when they're cast as the adventure side. But Grolnok gives permission to cast spells with crit counters on them, not just permanent spells. So we can actually cast the instant side of these from exile, which is a really, really neat interaction. Alright, so this is the list I'm working with at the moment. It's a work in progress. So this is my Kermit Druid Grolnok cEDH deck. You can find it on Moxfield, link in the description. It's just your standard Simic package, honestly. Grolnok at the helm. You've got all your dorks, all the one-drop dorks. Also play Priest of Titania. Because we are playing Concordant Crossroads, as Hermit Druid needs to be able to tap, this can let us sort of get the element of surprise. There is the whole, it's a Hermit Druid deck. Hermit Druid has to stick around for a whole turn. They're not a threat. They're not just going to win out of nowhere. But we can actually do that for just one extra green, which is pretty solid. Now, I'm just going to add some post-commentary here because I got a little sidetracked recording this. But the reason I was talking about Concordant Crossroads and Priest of Titania is that on our combo turn, with Concordant Crossroads, we can chain all the elves together, paying for each other, then play the Priest of Titania, and it will ramp us green mana. That's where I was going with that. But we missed the mark. Alright, back to the commentary. But yeah, this is the list I'm running with at the moment. We have Hypnotic Sprite, counter target spell with CMC, 3 or less. It's a 3-drop. It's a bit more than we want to pay, but it does alright. We have Lab Maniac just for redundancy. It can help us win through Hushbringer type effects. Phantasmal Image, again redundancy should a Hushwing Griff or something be flashed in response. We can then Brazen Borrow the Hushwing Griff back to hand if they don't have mana to cast it again, then play Phantasmal Image. Alright, sorry, I had to cut. Where was I? Alright, so Phantasmal Image can make a play it as a copy of ThOracle to re-trigger its ability should something happen. I don't know, someone stifles it or something along those lines. Spellseeker, just a really good card. Sylvan Safekeeper, being able to protect Hermit Druid, protect Kermit, it's very good. Hey, that card, I heard it wins games. Echo of Aeons, we talked about. Eldritch Evolution, it finds Druid. Finale, it finds Druid. There should be a Green Suns in this list, but because this is the list I'm actually playing, I don't actually own a Green Suns right now. So, Green Suns should be in the deck, though. 1,000,000%. We'll fix that up. Like I said, this is a work in progress, and the updated list will be in the description down below. Ponder. I'm not sold on Ponder, honestly. It's good turn 1. I don't really like it after turn 1. Traumatize. Now, this card. That card's really good. Brainstorm, Chord. Again, it finds Hermit Druid. Crop Rot. Crop Rot is a necessary evil, I think. It finds Yavimaya. And when you have 7 fetch lands and only 2 targets, if a game goes long enough, you might end up with some dead fetches, and you really want that Yavimaya so you can at least get some use out of them fetches. I honestly am considering just playing Urborg in the deck as well, just to make them live even more, but in testing, the games don't go long enough for that to be an issue. So, at the moment, I think it's fine. If your meta's very stacks heavy, you might want that Urborg, but I wouldn't suggest it. I don't think you need it, really. The deck is very fast. Rift. It's very good. I don't know why people started dropping this from list, but it is very good. We're moving back to a fairly creature-heavy format right now. Lot of Timners around. Rift is very good. Dispel, Fierce Guiding Ship, Fluststorm, Forces. These are all just cards. These are all just designed to make sure your combo works. You really don't want to use any of these counter spells unless it's stopping an opponent winning or to protect you winning. I mean, that's just how interaction should be. If you're playing interaction just for the sake of it, you're doing it wrong. That's a lot of people. A lot of people. Put your hand up if that was you. That's what I thought. That's a lot of people. Muddled Mixture. Not the best counterspell in the world. But, you know what it does do? It finds Hermit Druid. There's going to be a running theme here. If it finds Hermit Druid, we want it. Mystical Tutor. I know it doesn't find Hermit Druid, but it finds Traumatize. And Traumatize, good chance it's going to find a Hermit Druid. Noxious Revival. Again, this is just redundancy. One, it's a fantastic card. It can be used to disrupt your opponents as well as to help your combos. So, card's just great. Like, free spells are good. Play them. Speaking of free spells being good, this one, also very good. Spell Pierce, it's cheap interaction. Swan Song, again, cheap interaction. Now turn the Earth. Choose up to 3 target cards in graveyards. The owners of those cards shuffle them into their libraries. You gain 2 life. Flashback. That's the important part. Flashback. If you mill your whole library out, someone kills your frog, this can save you the game. Card's very good. Trust me. Trust the process. Play it. And the fact that they don't all have to be in the same graveyard, you can just put that ThOracle back in your deck if you want to. Draw it next turn and try again. Like, if you were in, like, the worst kind of situation possible, I mean, that works. Worldly Tutor. 3 guesses what our target is. As for rocks, you just want to play them all. Now, I hate signets at the best of times. But on your combo turns, Colored Mana is a premium, and I'm willing to pay that price for Simic Signet. Okay? Jeweled Lotus is the best card to see in your opening 7. Turn 1 Frog off Jeweled Lotus and a land is very good. I cannot understate how many games I've won because of a turn 1 Frog card advantage is unreal. Unreal. Honestly, it's so good. Enchantment. So, Carpet of Flowers. It's green. It's very good. I spoke about how we can use it earlier. It's very good. Corn Crossroads. Again, combo piece. Exploration. Now this, again, a card I'm not sold on. Trying it out. I might just cut it for the Green Suns, honestly. It's very good turn 1, but 29 lands isn't a lot. And if we have extra fetches, often having them on the field is no different to having them in the hand when we don't have any targets left. So, I'm not sold on it. I do like it, however, in a situation after we tap Hermit Druid. Being able to play Exploration and play another land, just to get the colors we need, or to get a specific land. Like I've played, where is it? Cephalid Coliseum, off it before, to be able to then force myself to draw cards and win off Labman. Stuff like that, it cannot be understated, right? Mystic Remora, well, it needs no explaining. Risky Study, again. Sylvan Library, we're in green. Wild Growth, it's mana. It's very good. Now the land base, oh boy, this hurts. Botanical Sanctum, it's not fantastic. But often you won't go past 3 lands. This is why I haven't found the 7 fetches to be a big issue right now. I imagine it will, though. The more games I run with it, the more stacks pods I'm in, I can imagine that's going to feel a whole lot worse. Cephalid Coliseum, as I've said, you can interrupt other people's ThOracle lines as well. This land, card is great. City of Brass, City of Traders, gets Frog quicker, I guess. It's the only reason in the deck. The land base sucks and you want your Frog as fast as possible. Same reason you're playing this one over here, you just want your Frog as quick as possible, because that's how you win the game. You ride that bad boy to victory. Exotic Orchid, Flooded Strand, Forbidden Orchid, Gemstone. Hypno, it's great. You can essentially draw 4 if you need it. It's not bad. It comes in untapped and attacks for blue. Like, sign me up. Mana Confluences, what do we got? Fetches, lands that tap for both colors. Artifact lands. Now we're playing both of them. Turns Mox on quicker, comes in untapped. Like that I really don't have a reason other than that, honestly. But it helps turns on Mox, and that's something. I'll take it. Waterlog, nah, that's good. It can draw cards. Yavimaya Coast and Yavimaya itself. Well, we already spoke about Yavimaya, and this just taps for both our colors, so we'll take what we can get. Now, this deck's biggest weakness is the land base. It's not great. But the deck itself, it's very strong. We'll look at, there's some cards I'm considering. So, Oko doesn't really have great synergy with the deck, but it's a very strong card. And, you know, it is sort of a catch most that you can play from exile, need be. I didn't like it when I tried it, so I took it out. Tameo, I was a really big fan of, so with +1 can actually just effectively draw you 4 should you not have your combo yet. And it's a permanent that you can play after you combo, and then -3 to get like ThOracle back to your hand, or interaction or something back to your hand, like a Veil of Summer to help force stuff through. Tameo is very good. I just not sure I have room for it, and despite it being so good, it might just be too slow. Very expensive. Now, I did tease that there might be some Frog Tribal in here, and this is the closest you're going to get to Frog Tribal from me in a cEDH review. We have Moth Dust, Changeling, and Universal Automaton. Changelings, they count as frogs, they're 1-drops. Hey, if you play that turn 1, frog turn 2, swing with it, essentially draw 3, it's not bad. Like, there's a world where those cards are good enough to see play, and I don't think that world's too far off from ours. I haven't tested them, so your mileage may vary, but I think they're playable. I'm not sold. Spellstarter Sprite. Now, it's a 2-drop, which is great. It can only counter a 1-drop, which, you know, it hits the Rebs, Swan Song, Spell Piece, all that kind of stuff. So it's Swords. Swords is another very relevant one. So it's probably worth a sword, and does just straight up counter it, which is good. Again, this is one, I don't own it, so I haven't tried it, and I really don't like proxies. I don't have a problem with other people proxying. I just don't like using them myself personally. But I've got one on the way. So I'll give it a test, and we'll see what happens. Brain Freeze. Now, it seems like a sin to not be playing Brain Freeze in this deck. But I tried it, and I didn't really like it. Like, yeah, I played at the end of someone's turn when a few people had a little counter war, and I drew some cards. It was alright. But I'm not sold. Vision Charm, I feel like I haven't tested it. I've got one on the way. But I feel like it's going to be a similar thing, right? You can phase an artifact out. I guess that can interrupt some combos. Or put the top 4 cards from target player's library into his or her graveyard. I mean, it could draw me some cards. I guess you could do some shenanigans or all lands of one type of basic lands of your choice land a turn. I imagine you could do some shenanigans if someone has a Blood Moon type effect out. You could make all mountains be blue or something like that, or green, so you could have your combo turn, I guess. Because you're playing no basic, so Blood Moon hurts. And maybe that's good enough. I don't know. I'll try it. See if I like it. Basalt Monolith Mesmeric Orb. Now, I thought about Mesmeric Orb by itself just because it's sort of like a pseudo-value piece. You know, if you untap a few permanents, you draw a few cards a turn, which can be really good. But at the same time, if I'm playing it, I don't know why I wouldn't just play Basalt Monolith. And then if I'm playing that, probably the land Inventor's Fair as well. Because that's just another way to mill your whole library instead of Hermit Druid. It's like a backup combo. But our combo lines are pretty strong. I don't know if we need that backup combo. The backup combo is definitely much worse. But it is a thing that we can do. Now, Mutavault. That's also on our Frog Tribal strategy. So it becomes a 2/2 creature with all creature types to land a turn. So you can essentially pay 1 to turn this into a frog to swing to draw 3. So you're essentially paying 2 mana, because there's 1 plus this will have to attack, so you won't be able to tap for mana. But it draws you 3, like, I don't think it's good. But it's a thing you can do. And if you're going down this route, I think that's worth at least a try, right? Now Urza's Saga, I'm just not sold on it in this deck. Like, you don't need to go and find a mana rock off it, and you don't need the constructs. Like, you get all your mana rocks to the field. Like, you just don't need it. It might be okay. I haven't personally tested it. I did have it in the deck for one event. I didn't like it, really. But, hey, if any of these cards I've spoken ill of, and you try them and you like them, man, I want to know about it down in the comments, alright? But that brings to the end of the list, so I really hope you enjoyed. Hope you give it a spin. Let me know what you think. Drop it down in the comments below. I love reading the comments. I'll reply to them all. Peace. Look after yourselves. I hope you enjoyed the video. Have a nice day.